So we all know that from second number one, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Trump and MAGA, they were dead set on blaming the left for Charlie Kirk's murder. But it actually goes beyond that. Not only did they want to blame the left, they specifically wanted to blame trans people, and they specifically wanted to find a way to blame Antifa and left-wing groups. And so, they kicked the propaganda into overdrive to sort of hammer that narrative home quickly. But, of course, they ran into a bunch of problems because they had to move the goalpost from it was a trans shooter to, oh, no, it was actually trans stuff on the bullets to, okay, no, there was like a trans partner. And they just kept moving it. But again, at the core of this is the same thing. Blame trans people, blame Antifa, blame the left, blame left-wing groups. And, much to their chagrin, most of the commentary happening now about this shooting is like, hey, what the fuck is this? Because we've talked about it here. You guys can go back and watch all of my original segments on it, but so much of the shooting doesn't add up. So much of it, according to the official story, makes no sense. And so in a moment like that, you get the sense they're even more desperate to like hammer home. No, don't think about it. Just shut up and blame the left, right? Well, guess what? We just got this. Feds coming up empty in attempt to link Kirk shooter to left-wing groups, NBC News. Despite claims coming from Donald Trump's administration that the man who shot far-right conservative gadfly Charlie Kirk was part of a left-wing conspiracy, investigators are finding no evidence to back that claim. According to a report from NBC News early Saturday morning, 3 insiders claim they are coming up dry. At the same time, Vice President J.D. Vance and Trump advisor Stephen Miller are calling for holy war of liberal groups over the killing of Kirk at a Utah college campus. NBC News is reporting one member of the team investigating the shooting confessed, thus far, there is no evidence connecting the suspect, Tyler Robinson, with any left-wing groups. They added every indication so far is that this was one guy who did one really bad thing because he found Kirk's ideology personally offensive. All of this flies in the face of statements made by Miller, who proclaimed, "With God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout the government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name." The report adds that filing a federal case against Robinson may also face hurdles. Quote, "Factors that have complicated the effort to bring charges at the federal level include that Robinson, a Utah resident, did not travel from out of state. Kirk was shot during an open campus debate at Utah Valley University. Additionally, Kirk himself is not a federal officer or elected official, further complicating the matter," the report notes. So in other words, they're saying we don't even know if he's going to be able to try them federally. We don't know if this guy's going to be able to be tried federally because they don't have the grounds to do it. But here's the most terrifying part, right? They want to be able to blame this on the left. But even if they can't, that doesn't mean they're not going to try, and that doesn't mean they're not going to do, their words, a holy war against any sort of left-wing group that they feel like they can draw a loose connection to the violence, right? And so that's why, I told you guys, they're going after Act Blue, for example. Act Blue is literally just the Democratic fundraising apparatus. That's all it is. So, like, if you donate to a Democratic PAC or a Democratic campaign or, an issues thing, whatever it may be, that goes through Act Blue. Well, they want to take down Act Blue so Democrats can't do fundraising anymore, right? That's one example. Elon Musk has had a hate boner for Media Matters for a very long time. The right has hated Media Matters for a very long time. Why? This is actually very telling. Because they quote the right directly. All Media Matters does is they say, hey, here's a clip from Fox News of some idiot saying some idiotic shit, and they post it, and then the right goes, how dare you? We're going to sue you. Which says a lot when all they're doing is holding up a mirror to your own fucking face, and you're going, oh, that's the most hideous thing I've ever seen. And so, no left-wing group is safe. No left-wing group is safe. Now, as you know, Trump is trying to designate Antifa a terrorist organization. That's fucking bonkers, because Antifa isn't even an organization. Antifa is just like a loose amalgamation of people who, when there's like some Proud Boys event, they get together online and say, hey, let's counter-protest. Okay, let's counter-protest. That's it. Trump wants to designate them a major terrorist organization. When you look up how many people were killed by Antifa, the answer that was given was 0 to 1. So they don't know if one person is considered a victim of Antifa or if it's literally zero. They don't know. But that's what we're talking about. And that major terrorist organization. Trump wants to declare all trans people violent extremists, which is it. You might as well just put a fucking target on their back at that point. This is just flat out incitement against these people. An already marginalized community. It's hard enough to get a job. It's hard enough to have a decent life. And they're just adding fuel to the fire and trying to fucking ruin these people, take away their ability to get the medicine they need and they deserve, and now calling them all violent extremists. Absolutely fucking terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But when you actually get leaks from the FBI, they go, listen, man, there ain't shit here. There ain't shit here. Like, this was one guy who did it. Now, Ken Klippenstein's reporting. Ken Klippenstein said he talked to all the people who were in, like, the group chats with Tyler Robinson. And they said, look, he's basically apolitical. Like, they never talked about Biden. They never talked about Trump. They did a keyword search for that and only found, like, one mention of each over all the years. So, pretty apolitical. Didn't really talk about politics, but was pro-LGBTQ. And that could have been one of the motivating factors. But beyond that, as I said, they got nothing. And they also are trying to stem a tide of people asking genuine and legitimate questions about what the fuck happened here. Why did he change his clothes twice? That doesn't make any sense. Why did he put the gun together and take it apart multiple times? And why can nobody see the gun when he's running down from the top of the roof? They said he had disassembled it and put it in his backpack. Well, somebody took a 30-06 and did that. And guess what? It would be poking out of the backpack, and it's not for Tyler Robinson. And they found the gun, which was disassembled, reassembled in the woods. None of it seems to make any sense. The more you learn, the more you're like, well, what the fuck is this about? Just so everybody knows, what happened to Charlie's neck, that had to be either the bullet ricocheting off something, which led to that giant, what they're saying is an entrance wound. But it could have been an exit wound, because the way it would actually work with firearms is if you get shot, the entrance wound would barely be visible at all. Like, you would not see much of anything. The exit wound is the thing that would, like, look that gruesome and that gory and that big. And they're trying to say, like, oh no, that's the entrance wound. Originally, what people thought was it hit the corner of, a bulletproof plate he was wearing and ricocheted up and got his neck, right? And that's what I thought was the case. But then his wife came out and said, well, he wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest. Okay, well then that has to be more like an exit wound, right? Not an entrance wound, because an entrance wound wouldn't look like that. And so now, look, bottom line, there's so many questions that are unanswered, so many things that make no sense. And all MAGA wanted to do, Kash Patel and Trump wanted to do, is somehow blame the left, blame the left, blame the left. Well, sorry to tell you, it ain't working. And it's not going to work. But that doesn't mean they're not going to try to use this, just like Naomi Klein says, this is the shock doctrine. They're going to do the thing they already wanted to do, use this as an excuse to do the thing they already wanted to do. So they're going to try, but understand something. All of this is in vain. It has nothing to do with Charlie. This is all because they want to make this country a one-party state. That is super clear. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.